We are back, baby. We are fucking back. We're back. Come on. Classic.
I have been playing Starfield non-stop every day since it was released, and all I gotta say is I am so exhausted.
I'm tired, boss.
Now, before I start talking about how amazing this game is, I think I need to address the haters.
Police always messing with me and my friends when we go out. Can't never have no fun.
The people who hate Starfield are all equally as unhinged as this guy.
Fucking pronouns.
You know, it's funny that people who are scared of gay stuff are the same people who call others snowflakes, but as soon as Bethesda throws in pronouns to their game, they have a complete meltdown. And if you agree with the pronouns guy, then your pronouns are beta/pussy. Now, as for me, I identify as an Apache attack helicopter. I don't know about you guys. But besides the pronouns guy, there is a lot of grifters trying to milk the hype around this game and use it to be completely negative, because anyone making reviews the day of Starfield's release, whether they got a review copy or not, are just trying to be the first ones to get that release day hype instead of actually playing the game. And I'm gonna be completely honest, I haven't even finished the main story yet because this game is humongous.
Okay. Humongous what? Humongous what?
So anybody making reviews in the past 2 weeks is an uneducated, dishonest, uncultured swine
Pronouns.
who's been farming hate views, convincing actual people who want to know if they should buy the game or not that Starfield is this crippled, buggy mess that sucks because it's not perfect.
So these reviews you are seeing that are really positive are a conflict of interest and obviously bias. Now, why you shouldn't buy this game and why it's a piece of shit, well, it's not a piece of shit, but it's definitely about a 6 out of 10, which should make it actually not a very good game.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
This game is actually so disappointing. Not gonna lie, I made a video about Starfield like 7 months ago, okay? And the gameplay I was reviewing was like 3 or 4 months old, okay? So I agree, even back then, it wasn't completely fair for me to judge the game. But now, okay, you can't say shit. I've seen all the leaks, I've seen full gameplay. The game is out, essentially, okay? People are already playing. So, when I say this game is a lie and a failure by Bethesda, I swear, I am not joking.
He says he watched gameplay. Well, guess who else watched gameplay? Quantum TV, the #1 brand in stupidity. And you might know him as the guy who made that awful Elden Ring review. You know why it was so awful? Because watching the game ain't the same as playing it.
You violated the law.
Combat in this game has looked awful for years, literally years. Since the first day they showed a bullet being fired at E3, I knew this shit was gonna go downhill. It looks like Fallout New Vegas level combat, but somehow worse. Because it's in space and the guns have no recoil, so it looks completely botched and unfun. Because it's in space and the guns have no recoil, so it looks completely botched and unfun. Sort of dried out because they didn't innovate on it. We see the same exact shit. The base building, the combat, the movement, the dialogue. Nothing is new. There is no innovation here. 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 Nothing is new. There is no innovation here.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard alert, class.
Bethesda, or I guess
Bethesda
doesn't have to reinvent the wheel in order to make a great game. So if for some reason you expected Starfield to have Apex combat and Last of Us level storytelling in every side quest, then yeah, you're gonna be a little bit disappointed, but that's not what this game was advertised to be.
You know, in my cargo hold that I have specifically for sandwiches. I don't want to play the hero.
And I'm not even sure why I'm arguing over this, because most of these hate videos were made by people who've had a hate boner for this game ever since it was announced. And the only way they were ever gonna like it is if Starfield literally blew them.
He's a 10, right?
He's a 10.
But he has a 2-inch dick.
Oh, I don't care.
You don't care?
Size doesn't matter.
They've done studies, 60% of the time, it works every time. That doesn't make sense.
My expectations going into Starfield were actually somewhat normal, I think. And there were two things that I thought would bother me, but when actually playing the game, I didn't care at all. Those two things being landing and takeoff cutscenes and no vehicles.
Bethesda.
So not to sound like I'm meat riding Bethesda right now, because I'm sure I would love seamless landing, but in this case, I feel like having a pretty cool 15-second cutscene is ultimately way better than, you know, looking at the clouds for 2 minutes and holding W.
Is your birthday October?
Now, as for there being no vehicles, that doesn't really matter since you're basically only ever a 2 minutes run away from a mission area, which is fine for me. And during that 2-minute run, there's a chance you might run into like a cool animal or a landed pirate ship. So the vehicle problem isn't really a problem. Now, I'm not saying all my expectations were met. There was this one thing I was really looking forward to that really disappointed me, and that is the outpost system. The outpost system compared to Fallout 4 is complete dog water. And I was really looking forward to seeing if I was able to make my own Aquila City, but the building options are very limited and there's no settlers. So it's kind of just a useless feature in the game since your ship is basically already a moving outpost. So I'm hoping with DLC and mods that the outpost system will actually become something, but until then, it's without a doubt the most disappointing part of the game for me.
So why didn't I flinch? Because the laws of science differ fundamentally from those of...
There's a lot of stuff here, so I'm just going to split this part into parts. So let's start with combat. Bethesda is normally not good at combat, but I think they did a really good job here with all the cool weapon variety and customization. Like, you can make guns with explosive rounds or bullets that set people on fire, and the movement combined with the weapons is so smooth that when you throw a jetpack on top of all that, you get some very fun moments. And I haven't done a whole lot of enemy outposts, and the ones that I have done don't have any dialogue options unless it's part of a quest. So I'm really just walking in there and randomly shooting people for no reason. But overall, I'd say the combat system in Starfield is pretty good compared to past Bethesda, but I can't say it anymore because I've been saying it with a lisp. This is by far their best work.
Life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above.
Building space boats is definitely one of the biggest features in this game, so Bethesda spent a lot of time fine-tuning it, and it definitely shows. I think I've spent like 6+ hours in the building menu just toying around with different ideas, like a giant cargo ship or something from Star Wars.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah, I fucking love Star Wars!
But it does have a few features I would add, like choosing where I want to put ladders or maybe remove them completely, because having to slowly climb a ladder every time I want to get around my ship is really annoying. But other than that, I really did enjoy, you know, building up my ship over the entire playthrough. I just think we need to make these things more handicap accessible, you know?
Can you please let me push the button over here? No. Conductor, we have a problem! Conductor, we have a problem! Conductor, we have a problem! Conductor, we have a problem!
I'm not really sure what falls under this category, so I wrote a few things down and I'm just gonna read them off. Alright, exploration. The exploration part of this game is actually pretty lackluster, I think, which is probably why I've seen some people returning the game, aside from being homophobic.
As far as COs go.
But honestly, there is no such thing as a good space exploration game. Because I've played No Man's Sky and it's pretty much the same as Starfield, except there's no interesting quests or characters or cities that you run into along the way. So as far as I know, Starfield is as good as it gets when it comes to balancing, like, exploring the universe while also not getting completely bored. The face creation is made to be one of a kind. You know, if you ever wondered what I look like in real life, this is it. This is my face reveal right now. That is me. That is me. And I think it's actually really detailed compared to their other games, mostly because of the extra templates. But I feel like it's a little bit limited when it comes to the hair options, with there only being like 45 or something. But it's not really a huge deal since you're usually wearing like a hat or a helmet. And another cool mechanic in the game that I thought was pretty interesting was the way everything moves. Like from the physics all the way to planets being affected to their position in a solar system. Bethesda did a really good job at making the galaxy function like a galaxy. But there is one major question that I'm sure everyone wants to know before they buy the game, and that is, does it work? The answer to that is, yas, queen. These guys have learned their lesson with releasing half-baked games, and you could tell that they really wanted to make sure that there wasn't any performance issues. And I gotta say that I've only ever crashed like after playing, you know, 8 hours straight, 9 hours straight. And as far as game-breaking bugs go, I haven't run into a single one. But that is not to say that I haven't seen a couple janky things happen. I think Starfield is one of the rare cases where it has tons of content and it never gets old or repetitive. Like in one quest, you could be an undercover agent gathering information on a bunch of pirates, and in the next, you could be saving New Atlantis from a very dangerous alien species. And that's a very watered down explanation of some very interesting storylines that I don't want to spoil. But I am going to spoil the alien one just a little bit because it's probably my favorite one so far. Basically, you're told to go check on some settlers as an initiation into the Vanguard. And since I'm used to games that have you do boring missions like that where it's like, hey, chosen one, go deliver these pancakes to Nana on the other side of the map, but you're not allowed to fly, so here's this 2003 beat up Honda Civic. But when you get there, you notice everyone was killed by an alien creature, and before the mission starts, you're actually sprinkled with little hints. Like you hear some people talking about this type of alien, or you see how it destroyed an entire city at one time. So you get to understand just how dangerous and smart this creature is. And when it's finally revealed, it feels like it's straight out of a movie.
What's that sound? Security lockdown is active. Shit. Stop. Stop whatever you're doing and get in cover. It's on the move.
That whole quest and storyline gets way cooler, but that was just a very small example of how interesting the game can be. Now on to the main story. So, as I said earlier, I haven't finished it, mostly because I think the best way to play a Bethesda game is to do the main story last. But for this review, I decided last second that I wanted to try and finish the main story, but I just didn't have enough time. But from the amount that I did play, I'm starting to think that maybe doing the main story first is the best way to play, which is kind of unusual for a Bethesda game. Like, I finished half of all the side quests in Fallout 4 before I even remembered that I had a son. And another thing that I liked was the fact that they hired more than 5 voice actors, and I'm pretty sure there's like 300 in Starfield, so there's more variety in accents and acting quality.
Mom, can you give me some money, please? Stop fucking around.
I can't.
Mom, give me some fucking money, please. What are you doing? I'm your son.
Starfield is a great game with a few flaws, but I feel like that's just Bethesda's thing. You know, they make a game aesthetically shitty, from wonky facial movements to the occasional bug. But underneath that thin layer of turd is gold. The thing about this game is you have to play it to really know if it's good or bad, because I've seen most people who didn't like it didn't even play it longer than 2 hours, or had some warped idea on what it was supposed to be. But if you really want to know if this game is for you or not, then I have a few good questions that I think you should ask yourself before making a decision. 1, do I have patience? Because even though this game has a lot of fun, it takes a little bit of time to get to the juicy parts of a storyline. Like the reveal of the alien wouldn't have been half as cool had I not went through an entire museum, just soaking up all the lore and history of the world. And 2, did you enjoy Skyrim or Fallout? If the answer is yes, then you'll love this game. And I really hope all the fake reviews of people who claim they're just being skeptical don't influence your decision on this game, because in my opinion, Starfield might actually be Bethesda's best game I've ever played. And there's still going to be more content from DLCs and the modding community, so the potential for this game is through the roof, on top of it already being a really good game. So with that, I am giving this game a 9 out of 10 with a mouth-watering back step of approval.
I need more bullets! I need more bullets! Bigger weapons! Bigger weapons!